Alright guys, how you doing? Sorry the videos have been a little sporadic lately with the schedule. For now we're going to be, every day, every other day. With this whole pandemic going on, it's hard to get a set schedule with the kids and whatnot. But I did want to keep in touch with you, remind you to, support your local businesses in town. They're hurting the most out of this. The big banks are going to be okay with this, and it's going to be the little guys, as always. Your mom and pop shops, your sub shops, your ice cream places, all those places. Try this week to get out and order a pizza and support your local, your neighbors, who are in this with you. And just a heads up, you're not going to see this on the news. People are starting to get fed up with this. People are starting to protest, to willfully disobey, do civil disobedience. So heads up, it is going on there. It's going on. If you decide to partake in this, no, you're not alone. Be aware that, even though it's not covered on the news, there are other people who are like-minded like us who don't want to be stuck inside without a legitimate reason, who are fearful that the government is taking control and powers and rights from us under the guise of a mysterious illness. One other thing, heads up, if you're not paying attention, they're pushing hard for the mail-in ballots for the November election. This is a huge no-no. This is right out of the Democratic playbook. We know about the fraud in the last election and every election since we were alive. There's a meme out there that says, "When I die, don't let me vote Democrat." So we don't want that. If there's any way you can, be vocal about that, push against that agenda, that's huge. Pretty much right now, Trump's running against Biden. Now, they might sneak someone in there because Biden's such a weak candidate. So I would look for maybe Cuomo to get in there, kind of America's governor kind of thing, because of the way he's handling the situation up in New York. But in this election, if they have the mail-in ballots, we know it has a high potential for fraud. So just, if you can be vocal, push back against that. That's important now before they start implementing steps, because that's a good way to steal an election. And maybe you're not sold on it yet, but you got to pay attention, see what comes down the line. If they push back, they just had a meeting with Cuomo and New Jersey Governor Murphy and Connecticut and I think Pennsylvania, and everybody's kind of saying the same thing. We want to get back to work, but we got to make sure it's right. And it's got to be kind of, they don't know what the hell's going on, and they're just kind of pushing it down the line. The longer we're inside, the more control they have over just everything. If we can't interfere with whatever they're doing, nefarious or not, the longer we're inside, the more control they have, and the less naysayers and protest against it, then they can just go scot-free. So again, if you're not like where I am, or people ahead of me are, you got to just be smart about this. If they start pushing out another 30 days, I'm not saying I know what the hell to do, but I do know you need to start asking why, right? You can't just say, okay, another 30 days. The question why needs to be the prevalent thing in this whole thing. Why are we doing this? Where's the data? There's not a lot of data out, right? And maybe they just have us inside because they don't have enough data. And I'd accept that maybe at some level, right? We don't have enough data, we don't know. But if they're making decisions based on, right? if they're based because we don't have data and we just want to stay safe, I'm not okay with that, really. But that's kind of an acceptable answer. But if it's anything other than that, there's no data out. We don't have enough data to make a decision. So it's kind of a goofy period, but you got to watch these restrictions. And if you're starting to feel a little bit rubbed about it, then it's time to start speaking out. Start communicating with your neighbors. Start communicating with leaders in this movement. Reach out to me. If you see articles or videos and they're credible, you can send them to me or send them to your friends. A lot of this is like conversation based. Some people are completely in the dark and they just say, oh, they said do it, right? And that's just how they live. That's how we're trained from the time we're children. We're told the authority says do something, don't question authority. And so they're living happily right now, or they're not happy about it, but they don't even think there's an option to think about another to speak out, right? That doesn't even come across people's minds. You gotta believe that. So start conversating. Say, hey, does this make sense to you? And that's how we can get a collection of like our minds together and go, this ain't right, and then we can make a move together if need be. Now, hopefully, I'm wrong, and they'll find some kind of cure for this. Optional vaccine if you want, and then we can get back to life, and maybe this isn't some whole big government takeover, but right now it feels like it, because if you were to write a movie on how to take over a free people's rights, this is how you would do it. They've implemented it step by step. So beyond that, be supportive of your neighbors. Call your friends, call your family, be in touch. This is a good time to reconnect with people who, when you were busy, you couldn't do it. So now you don't really have an excuse for that. Connect with the people. If you know a friend suffers from like depression or anxiety, or if you know someone is having a hard time, a phone call could go a long way. They got the Zoom stuff now. You can have a conversation with them, and believe me, I got the depression, and sometimes somebody just calls me out of the blue, and it's like, wow, can really turn me around. So help each other and take care of each other, and we're gonna get through this. I'm gonna make some more videos as we go. Again, sorry about the scheduling. It'll be every day, every other day, and I appreciate the support, guys. Have a good night.